All right, so this question comes from Miss Dakita as we talk about convos with mothers and parenting. How do you effectively communicate with your children who are now transitioning into adulthood but feel some type of way about how you have raised them in the past? Basically, they are still dealing with your trauma that was inflicted or your experiences or your pain, and you don't want to feel that guilt as if you dropped the ball.
Answer that. From a child's perspective, answer that to a parent from a child's perspective in that situation or in that respect.
I would say that from a child's perspective, I think for me, first off, I think that it's important to, one, instead of feeling guilty, I think that it's important for mothers to acknowledge the pain that they have caused to their children, at a young age, even though they are adults. I think when you continue to deny it or you continue to operate like you're just so wise or smart or you're, trying to make things better, but you don't acknowledge the past, I think that is already, causing some denial. And I think that every mother who is still woman, and I think someone asked the question, what's the difference between the mother versus the woman? I think every mother has to sit down with herself and acknowledge, okay, what was the woman going through and what was the pain that the woman inflicted on the child? I didn't mean to do it as a mother, but as a woman, it was done. And I think that that's the beginning point right there, is just acknowledging that, because it's not that we can't hear you as mother, but it's like, how do I want to explain it? Sometimes I have like two voices in my head when you're talking. One voice in my head is like, hear her as a mother. And then the other voice in my head is like,
here is a woman.
This woman ain't shit. I'm just really being honest, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, the mother I respect, but the woman is like, you ain't knowledge. So I'm like, in my processing of trying to hear you, I'm like ping-ponging, which voice am I listening to right now? But if the woman were to say, Ariel, let me address this matter, it at least like, someone tend to that voice. But if I'm constantly hearing the mother, and I never hear the woman help me tend to that voice of what I'm hearing in this side, then it's going to be conflict. Because not that you're trying to cause conflict, I think it's helping to understand the conflict is just in me.
The conflict is
and you can't see the conflict in me, but the conflict is in my mind.
And
we all should know this because we've all had mothers.
Well, and we also have to understand, and as I go back, I only respond to how I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking from a renewed mind standpoint is because I have come to realize from a spiritual standpoint, the whole goal and job of the enemy is to keep dissension and strife and resentment between mother and daughter, because first of all, daughter is going to grow up to be woman like she is woman. Mm-hmm. So that's why women can't get along so much. That's why women compete, gossip, jealousy, backbiting, all this other betrayal, because the whole goal, the enemy is threatened when women unite. Mm-hmm. And particularly when a daughter unite with a mother who is now woman with woman.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I recognize that. You know what I'm saying? And so we all have our own conflicts, internal conflicts that we have to deal with, which is why healing, and even in this case, a revival. Because a revival is about, let me resurrect the dead places. The places that have been causing me grief and frustration and disagreement with myself.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's why it's so important. Now, the second part of that is, as we are healed and revived and even operating as woman, not mother, I have to recognize, and I have recognized, I have done some damage. Because when a woman is not being loved the way that she was made to be loved, and she has children, out of her frustration, she's going to yell. She may cuss, and she may whoop your ass, or for those of you all who are religiously astute and don't want me to cuss, your bottom, your tail. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we all need healing. Like I tell you all, none of us are perfect. Show me a perfect parent and I'll show you Calvary's cross, and I want you to get on it.
Yeah.
And I want you to put them to drive nails in your hands and your feet and crucify you and pierce you in your side.
Yeah.
So all I can say, and as I have said to you all, go to therapy.
Yeah.
Talk about me. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And you all have.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think most, and here's what I'm saying, most mothers like to, from a religious standpoint, just be holier than thou, and they acknowledge that the woman, that the parent, that the child has saw some aspects of the woman. And I never want a mother or you listening to this to feel like you have to go and apologize.
No.
Because children can make you feel like you owe them an apology. And I think that's one thing you taught me is like, I don't gotta apologize for what I didn't know. There's no rule book to this. And I'm not saying like you don't have a heart, but a lot of people wanna run and, I'm just so sorry, will you forgive me, blah, blah, blah. But there's a difference between apologizing and acknowledging.
And in that, as I have gone through healing processes, in that acknowledgement is apology.
Yes.
I have no problem with, out of my own healing.
Yes.
Ariel, I apologize. I did not know what I was doing.
Yes.
I did the best that I can. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because that brings healing to your heart, as opposed to you want to hold me up under the gun, and now as a child you want to make me apologize.
Yeah, and that's where I don't like that, because but that's happening. It's like children are holding the gun to your head and say apologize for it. And it's like you don't owe them that shit.
Because you have. Oh, you said she better watch it.
I'm just saying, but for real, you don't owe them that. But what you do owe them is to acknowledge, and through your acknowledgement, there will come apology.
But and that's what healing is all about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not healed, your kids, your daughters, your sons, or whatever, can make you feel guilty. And let me tell you something. I don't care who you are and where you are. You have done the best you can with the hand that was dealt to you. And that's what I firmly believe. Because I didn't come with a parenting book with these. I didn't have the support that I needed. I wasn't in a position the way God ordered and ordained for us to be. But at the end of the day, I took the responsibility and I did the best I could. And where they are right now, whether they need therapy, whether they need a hospital, whether they need Jesus, they better go find him.
Yeah.
And you got to be sure of that within yourself.
Yeah. And if you're a daughter listening to that and you're the one with the gun in your hand holding it up to your mother's head, believing that you're owed an apology, go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Because at the end of the day, that is not how you're going to get the healing that you necessarily need. That is not going to give you the breakthrough that you need. And you, going back to the whole pride, but like, who do you think you are? I think that to me is just the most highest level of pride that you could ever carry, and it's not going to help you heal. Sit down, process, recognize your mother was still a woman at the end of the day, and go through the therapeutic process of what you need. But to keep punishing her like you're her judge and she owes you something, you're messing your own self up, and you need to go sit down somewhere.
I guess that's the end of that combo.